This is a beginning video about how to paint with acrylic paints. If you have previously worked with watercolors before, this will look similar, but the process is slightly different. We are going to start off with a mixture of blue and white at the very top of our page. And as we gradually come down the paper or the canvas, we are going to add white to our picture. Notice that I very rarely go back up the page. I just add more and more white to the picture because I want my image to get lighter as it comes down, so that whenever I do start painting my hills, that I will have the contrast that I need. I'm creating a purple mixture. This is kind of a reddish purple right now. You can make yours more of a blue purple if need be, but we just need a very light purple for our background. By adding a little bit of white to it, it will create this sense of atmospheric perspective. Note how I paint with my paintbrush up and down, leaving a rough edge. I don't want a smooth line across it. Now I'm simply adding some green to that same mixture and painting another layer down below. This is going to just be another layer of hills in my background. And as I come towards the bottom of the paper, I add more and more green to this. Notice that I never really thoroughly rinse off my paintbrush. I just add more color. Finally, I'm adding yellow to the green mixture to lighten it up further towards the bottom. This will allow me to have some extra contrast when it comes to some of the other images that I'm going to paint on this. Now at this point you may want to allow this to dry, but it is not necessary. I am painting some basic pine trees in the background, and I want them to kind of fade into the background, so I don't mind that they're actually blending in with some of my greenery. But you will notice that I start with a line to show where my pine tree is going to be, and a zigzag sort of pattern to create that sense of there being a pine tree, or the idea of a pine tree may be in the background. I'm using a fairly pointed brush with this. It gives me a little bit more control. This one is a little closer, so I've added a little bit of black to the green mixture and allowing it to overlap the other trees that I have in the background is okay. This overlapping again creates this idea of atmospheric perspective. And I can add as many trees as I want to this picture. But as I was saying, this is a sampler, so it's not so important to get exact. It is just learning how to use the acrylics. Finally, I'm mixing up a very deep, dark, almost a rust color that is going to create my deciduous tree in the background. This is going to be a spring theme, so this tree will have some leaves on it, but the branches and stuff are going to be fairly dark. Again, as I've said in the past, make sure that you do not put too many branches on your trees, especially ones that are hanging down. I'm simply taking my flat brush and going over top of this with a mixture of green and some yellow to create the sense of there being leaves on the tree, and finishing up with just a few bits of grass.